Hi, I'm Rosalind, and this is Center 2 called the Parachute Plunge. This center has a couple of parts to it. The first thing that you're going to start with is a quick demonstration of showing them how, if you have a flat sheet of paper and a crumpled sheet of paper, and you drop both of them from the same height, the students will observe what happens. So here we have two pieces of paper. One of them we're just going to crumple up like this. And then we're going to open it up a little bit like this, I guess. And then you can stand up and show them how when you drop both of them from the same height, the crumpled one drops faster. So you can explain, you can ask the kids, why do you think the crumpled paper always falls more quickly? And the reason is because the crumpled paper has less surface area. So there's less air that gets trapped underneath it. The surface of the flat paper is larger, so if more air gets trapped under it, it slows the fall. Then you can ask the class or your group what familiar objects can they think of in regular life also involves that principle, such as they could say like hang gliders, paper airplanes, sailboats, parachutes, and pinwheels. So those are a few examples of other types of things. After you've done this experiment, this is going to be essentially a craft center, but a shorter amount of time on the craft and a little bit more time on what they're going to experiment with the craft. So here we have a plastic bag. This probably not something that we see very much these days, but we have the plastic bag with some yarn. So there'll be some yarn in your box here and a bag of figurines. When they make this craft, they can take it home with them. So everyone will have their own. Here we're using the plastic bag. We tie the yarn to it and tie the figurine to the bottom. So this looks like a parachute. After the student has created their parachute, they can either just stand on the ground and let this drop, or as the parent volunteer, you can talk to the teacher and see if it's okay to have the students go one by one with your supervision to stand on the chair, where normally we wouldn't do that in the classroom. To have them stand on the chair one by one and then drop the parachute from a little bit higher and see how it falls to the ground. While they do that, or after they do that, you can also talk about other types of material that they could use to make their parachute, such as using, instead of plastic, maybe use fabric, like a shirt, or a paper plate, or a plastic cup, saran wrap, and what would make it easier, or what would make this fall faster or fall slower to the ground. Just to talk about the different materials. The other thing, if you have time, is you're going to have a paint stick and a piece of newspaper in here. And this is going to be at the corner of their desk, or on their desk. You're going to place the paint stick a third of the handle out on the ground, and then you're going to have the rest of it on the table like this. And then you're going to have the paper with the long side of the paper along the edge of the desk, like this. And then you're going to have one by one, ask them to come along and tap on the stick to see what happens. So they're going to come along and they're going to go like this. Okay. So what should happen is that the newspaper stays on the desk. So maybe just try it a couple of times. That didn't work, maybe because of the newspaper. But so what should happen is the stick will fall down like this, and the newspaper will stay on the desk. And with that experiment, you can talk about what keeps the paper from flying into the air. And what it is that you have a big surface area on your newspaper. You have lots of air pressure pushing down on it, and air has weight. And because the paper is large, it has a lot of surface area for the air to sit on it. So it's more difficult when you tap on the stick for the stick to lift the paper. So that's what that experiment is for, if you have time. And that's all we have for this center. So enjoy.